talk just a little bit about the terms gun control versus the terms gun safety, and how these two terms play a much bigger role in the overall story, the overall idea behind what's really going on in this country when it comes to gun rights, when it comes to our Second Amendment rights, and overall when it comes to our freedoms and liberties across the board in this country, and what some people want to do to those freedoms and liberties. Now, gun control is a term we hear a lot, but usually we hear that term from people who are pro-gun. And the reason is pretty simple. You're not going to hear a lot of anti-gun people using this term because it implies controlling guns. It implies that people want to take guns away from the citizens and only leave guns in the hands of law enforcement, military, and a few upper-class elites who they think deserve to have firearms. And this is kind of what the term gun control brings to mind, even to people who aren't particularly pro-gun. So they use terms like gun safety, common sense gun laws, doing it for the children. And they use these terms because it's hard for the average person to argue against wanting to save the children or common sense or being safe with guns. So they continually repeat these terms over and over and over again and say, oh, we don't want to control your guns. We don't want to have access to your firearms and all your records. We just want you to be safe with what you have, and we just want to protect the children. That's just common sense, right? But we as people who are pro-gun, who've paid attention to what's going on, we know what it really is. This is gun control pure and simple. And the end game here is to remove guns from the hands of citizens. This is where they're headed. Now, they tried to straight out come after our guns right after Sandy Hook, and they couldn't do it. They tried for an assault weapons ban, they tried for magazine capacity restrictions, and it didn't go through. So now we're in a war of attrition. Little steps here and there. We see groups like Everytown and Moms Demand Action and a lot of other groups who are sponsored by Bloomberg or other government agencies or politicians in power going on a state level and trying to pass these bills, and many of them are passing. We're getting universal background checks. We're getting the New York SAFE Act. We're getting magazine restrictions in certain states. This is a war of attrition. It's a war of words. And the first step in battling this is understanding what's going on. We as gun owners, we as people who are pro-gun, pro-freedom, pro-liberty, need to understand why something as simple as the difference between the term gun control and gun safety is so important and affects so many of us on such a big level. Now, the next step in that is spreading the word, and how you choose to do that is completely up to you. If you have a YouTube channel, by all means, make videos, put information out there. Talk to people online, talk to friends, talk to family members. There's so many things we can do to battle this on just a very basic level, and it's what we all need to be doing. As I said, ultimately this is a war of words that will end up deciding the fate of our freedoms and liberties. Ultimately, this is where they're headed. This is what they want, because once they control the guns, then they move on to something else. We've seen this time and time again, not just in this country, but all throughout history, different countries, different empires. They first control the people's means to defend themselves, and then they control everything else. This is how important something as simple as the difference between one term and the other really, really is. So I urge all of you to understand what's going on and do whatever you can to fight it. It is ultimately one of the most important things we have to deal with in this country. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to put that information out there. Maybe somebody will see it, it'll help you out. Maybe it'll inspire some other people to talk to your friends, talk to your family, make people aware of what's really going on. So otherwise, that's it. I do appreciate you guys watching. Questions, comments, all that good stuff, leave it down below, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks.